Today's video, I want to talk about Minnesota Vikings pending free agents. Should the team let said player walk or bring them back? We're going to get right into it, starting with Theo Jackson. And this is notable free agents, by the way. Theo Jackson, yes, especially with Harrison Hitman Smith likely gone. I expect for him to be cut. And Lewis Seen is a non-factor, so that leaves you with, before any other moves are made, Cam Bynum and Josh Metellus. Theo Jackson, the limited time that he was on the field, I feel like he made the most of his opportunities and made a couple of plays, got an interception at least. Kairos Tonga, yes, I don't think he's a starter, but a rotational piece on the interior defensive line. Absolutely, he holds value there. I feel like towards the end of the season, you started to notice him more and more. Nick Muse, and I'm also going to include Johnny Munt in this as well. Yes, especially with TJ Hawkinson suffering late in the season a torn ACL and MCL. Who knows when he'll be ready in 2024? I wouldn't expect for him to be ready to go at the start for sure, but you need those guys. Them along with Josh Oliver, it's not sexy. It's not something that's going to necessarily knock your socks off, but it allows you to skip over the tight end position in free agency and in the draft. I think it's enough to get it done at tight end. KJ Osborne, no. He is too inconsistent for a wide receiver 3. Second in drops on the team, only behind Alexander Madison. We tried the experiment. It just didn't work. He's either hot or cold, nothing in between. He either makes plays or he's slipping on an imaginary banana peel. Thanks, but no thanks. I think it's time to move on. I'm going to lump these players together. Blake Brandel, Austin Schlottman, David Kessenberry, Oli Udo, Chris Reed. All of the offensive line depth that are pending free agents, yes, you need to go ahead and bring them back. They're familiar with the system. Now, with that said, I will say if you decide to keep Garrett Bradbury and draft a center, then maybe you don't necessarily need Austin Schlottman. But besides that, you already have enough going on, so many positions of need that you have to address, that having to then spend additional time, energy, and resources on backup offensive linemen to get them up to speed, it's just, I don't think it's worth it. Leave well enough alone. I think consistency is key here. DJ Wanham, obviously, yes, bring him back, but the question is, can you afford him? I don't think the Vikings can. 8 sacks, 7 TFLs, 15 quarterback hits, and get this, 6 pass deflections as a defensive lineman. That's crazy. In a contract year, he's going. I don't think the Vikings have. They're not going to have enough of a luxury of having cap space, especially with the Kirk Cousins situation, Danielle Hunter situation, the dead cap hit by Marcus Davenport. I just don't think they'll be able to afford him. If he'll take a team discount, absolutely. But I think he's going to play in a different jersey in 2024. Brandon Powell, yes. I think he is an upgrade over KJ Osborne as a wide receiver 3. And on top of that, I appreciate the laser focus that he plays with. Play in and play out. This man is locked in. You know the saying, how it goes, stay ready so you don't have to get ready. That's Brandon Powell. He'll make big plays, but he gets up, he's not jawing with defenders or whatever. He just keeps his head down. All right, what's the next play? Let's get after it. I haven't seen anything like that since, I swear to God, Jerick McKinnon. I tell you what, man, 38-7 was embarrassing. I was full of rage watching that game. But Jerick McKinnon was one of the few players who played with heart and just, I'm going to do everything possible to help my team win. In spite of the bad circumstances, that's Brandon Powell. It's one of those things to where it's even in losses or embarrassing moments, guys like Jarrett McKinnon, Brandon Powell, I just say to myself, man, hey, I appreciate you, bro. I see you playing your ass off out there. Don't think we don't notice. Brandon Powell, absolutely bring him back. Josh Dobbs. I mean, if you cut Nick Mullins, yes. Otherwise, no. Nick Mullins, if you're going to keep him, you only need a backup quarterback. All right, a third string emergency quarterback, whether it's Jaron Hall or you bring back Kirk Cousins and you draft a quarterback, then you don't really have a need for Jaron Hall, especially after ruining his confidence. But I'm not going to go down that road again. Josh Dobbs, likely no. Greg Joseph, no. 30th in field goal percentage, 22nd in extra point percentage. If you are a bottom half kicker in both of those categories, no thanks. We don't need that anymore. Dalton Reisner, yes, did a fantastic job replacing Ezra Cleveland in pass protection. Run blocking, that's a whole different topic for another day. But at this point in his career, this is who he is. But absolutely, bring back Dalton Reisner. I think the only position that needs to be upgraded on the starting offensive line is center. That's with Garrett Bradbury. If you want to go ahead and cut him, bring in somebody else. Because quite frankly, the QB sneak is becoming just a regular play across the league that you need a center that has power and strength. And Garrett Bradbury doesn't do that. The other four positions on the starting offensive line leave well enough alone. Jordan Hicks, much like DJ Wanham, I want him back. The problem is he had himself a hell of a year that I don't think that the Vikings can afford him. And at 32 years old, this is likely going to be the last contract for Jordan Hicks. So he's going to want to cash out. I think he's gone. He's playing somewhere else next year. Marcus Davenport, do I really need to give a breakdown on this? I think this is an overwhelming consensus. No, don't bring him back. Let's move on from there. And then we get to the big two. Danielle Hunter. Yes. This, to me, is the priority among all the Vikings pending free agents. I know that the front office likes to embrace hashtag collaboration. Get those meetings out the way early so that way by the start of free agency, you have an offer right away for Danielle Hunter. Because I'm telling you right now, I know that he says, I love this team and I want to come back and all that. All players say that. This man is about his business. He's about his money. I don't blame him. He is a multi-time holdout, and he's not going to stick around waiting for you to come up with a respectable offer. The first team that gives him what he's looking for, which is going to be in the range of 20 to 25 million a year of a bunch of guarantees, that's where he's going. It doesn't matter what jersey he's putting on. And I tell you what, man, I said this going back to last offseason. You got to trade him. You absolutely have to. A premium edge rusher, first off, a premium position, and one of the best at that position, Danielle Hunter, the Bradley Chubb deal, you can get at least a first and a fourth round pick. 16 and a half sacks, 23 tackles for losses. And the fact that they didn't trade him by the trade deadline, there was a team out there that needed Danielle Hunter, the Jacksonville Jaguars. They needed Danielle Hunter, and they have the money to pay him what he wants. They didn't trade him, and think about what it would look like right now for the Vikings heading into the draft. The Jaguars, they have the 17th pick overall. Think about what that would look like for the Vikings right now to have the 11th and 17th pick, 2 first round picks. But because you didn't trade him, now you have to re-sign him. There is no way in hell you can let a player of that caliber simply walk. If this ends in not trading him and not re-signing him, letting him walk away to another team for a compensatory pick, That is a catastrophic failure at the hands of Kwesi Adafo-Mensah. You have to sign him, and you're at the mercy of what it is that he wants. You didn't trade him, sign him for whatever it is that he asks for. And lastly, of the big two, Kirk Cousins. I'm going to say pending here because it depends on the contract and the structure of the contract. I've been steadfast on saying I wouldn't pay him anything more than 20 million guaranteed at max, a 2-year deal. And the constant pushback is, Randy, that's disrespectful. He's going to get way more. He's going to get an offer from somewhere else for much more than that. People have me confused. It's not that I don't think he'll get offered more than $20 million a year. It's that I simply don't care. If he walks away, bro, let him go. Because you already have, if he walks away, a $28.5 million dead cap hit. And if you continue with what you've been doing this entire time, give him an expensive new contract, and all right, we'll shave some money now as far as the cap hit is concerned. And yay, we can make a few moves in 2024. Okay, every dollar that you pay a player at some point in time will rear its ugly head on the cap. Stop pushing money down the road, man. And what's been one of the main arguments for moving on from Kirk and all that money that he's going to want is that you can have a quarterback on a rookie contract and you can load up around the rest of the roster. Well, you can't do that if you're going to have all of these void hits with this new money that you're going to add on top of what already exists. If the money is right, sure, go ahead. I want Justin Jefferson to be happy. I don't want him to be in no man's land and having a quarterback like Josh Dobbs throwing him hospital passes to where he gets hurt. I want him to be happy. But it's not just about one player. It's for the team, man. He wants $40 million a year. I saw the report, or not the report, I saw the quote saying that, it's not about the money, it's about the meaning of the money and all this philosophical stuff, whatever it is. If he wants $35, $40 million a year, then let him go. This ain't serious at all. We have one playoff win under our belt in the Kirk Cousins era. And no, it's not all his fault, but in big moments, he crashes and burns. Mentally. I don't care if you bring him back. I'm open to him returning as long as the money is right. In a perfect world, you trade up for Jaden Daniels, you eat the dead cap hit now in 2024, and then in 25, oh my God, all bets are off. You can load up, buy all the free agents that you want, and kick some absolute ass moving forward in the league. But if we do this, well, we're going to structure it this way and push it down. And then instead of after 2024, if he were to leave, it would be in $18.25 million dead cap hit. Then, well, all the money that you're pushing forward, then we bring it back up to $30 million in year 2 of the quarterback that you just drafted in 24. Nah, fam. I'm open to him returning. The money just has to be right.